Hi, this is Majin. Here's some comic reviews for you. We got Earth 2, Detective, Action, Warriors, Spider-Man, Inhuman, Punisher, Deadpool, Moon Knight. Okay, let's start with Earth 2. Basically, I'm going to go kind of quick on this one. The art's pretty solid here, and it's basically evil Superman figures out, hey, the other Kryptonian has escaped, and most likely Batman's involved, so he decides to go to Gotham to take the fight to the new Kryptonian because he wants to be the only one. Now, basically, this story here is basically just setting up Green Lantern's going to return, give you some more background on the Kryptonian, and most importantly, they're reintroducing Lois Lane to Superman, going Clark, I'm Lois type thing. So that's going to be the selling point for the end of this issue and the next one. Overall, it's an enjoyable read. It's overall one of the I think it's one of the more stronger books from DC. But I think the strength for this book is the fact that it doesn't have to rely on a ton of baggage, history and things like that. Everything is fresh. So when you're reading it, it's all new. It's an entirely new experience, and that to me is what really appeals the most about Earth 2. Okay. Batman Detective Comics. Now this one, I swear to God, I was reading this thing and I was just losing interest so quickly. Basically, there's this woman, she's wanting to redo the waterfront area. You know, she's got a daughter. Bruce Wayne's kind of involved slightly, and he's going to help her out. And, you know, there's missing children that Batman saves. So I'm just like, oh, please, just end this thing quickly. Please end. And then we get to the ending. And that's when I kind of got my eyebrow twitching. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And I'm on board, at least for right now. Now, basically, there's obviously some evil people involved. They don't want things tampered with. And they're stirring some trouble up. So that's what kind of really started to appeal to me. Because, obviously, they didn't go to the Joker or somebody like that. At least, for right now. But overall, I thought the art was an interesting look. It's definitely not what you would normally expect from current, like either the Batman or the Batman and Robin. It definitely has its own unique feel to it. So that did take a little bit of getting used to. But I think overall, I think you're going to probably find a lot of people are going to enjoy reading this book. But for me, at least, this was one of those things that just took a little bit to get going, and once the seeds were planted, I was fine with it. Oh, and I was just wondering, but doesn't this almost in a way look like either the Terminator or Ultron? I don't know. Just thought. Okay. Action Comics, Superman, Prelude to Doomed. Now, I knew this was good. This is going to contain Doomsday, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is all about. Now, before we get into Doomsday, because this is the part where I have some serious issues with. Superman is fighting this girl. She controls some ghosts, and Superman really can't fight ghosts, so he sends the ghost to beat her, type thing. So that was just that part was just don't care. But this is the part that made me go, what the f are you doing here? Okay, now don't get me wrong. I fully understand polar bears are very dangerous and vicious animals. Rip humans to shreds. Fully understand that. But I also understand Nightwing could beat the polar bears. The Flash could beat the polar bears. Green Arrow could beat the polar bears. Damian could beat the polar bears. Heck, even the Spoiler could beat the polar bears. So when Doomsday is beating on polar bears, I just kind of went, if you're trying to make Doomsday look like he's a complete and utter, badass, you completely and utterly failed. Because they're polar bears. It's not like they're like a 10-headed dragon that breathes fire and acid and lightning and causes dimensional black hole rifts or something like that. It's freaking polar bears. Wow, you beat on some bears. Oh, watch out, Superman. I guess you don't know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the all-new 52 Doomsday who beats up on some bears versus the Justice League of America. So, just saying, it's a whole new look for you. Now, at the very end, there's something that does happen with Doomsday because he beats on a giant squid. New Warriors. Okay, what we're issue 3 is basically getting the new Evolutionary War into high gear. It's giving a reason for the heroes to meet with each other, to fight with each other. Overall, I mean, it's a decent read. Is this going to be something that's going to be a stellar thing? Something that's going to win awards? Absolutely not. But if you're looking for something a little bit different than Avengers and X-Men, you know, you're getting tired of like the big world-ending storylines or the mutant storylines. You know, this is kind of like very low-key. You know, you have a very diverse group of characters, and it's a little bit different. You know, it's something that's a little bit more for kids. And keep in mind when I mean kids, it's when you look at the art style and you look at what they're doing here. Like if you look at, like, for example, New Avengers or Avengers World or just plain old Avengers or even Uncanny X-Men, the art is really different, and it maybe not be as like a younger crowd, you know, could appreciate that because it's so different and it's not like a normal comic book. But this is exactly perfect for that. It's a decent read overall. Nothing to write home about, but it's there's enough here to keep me wanting to keep going, just to see how this diverse group of characters are going to interact with each other. Okay, Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man 200. Basically, all this issue here is people are gathering together to in the memory of, like, Peter Parker, and it's basically they're having a nice little dinner that's catered by Tony Stark. Basically, get somebody to do it, and they talk about the possible future that some of these characters had envisioned for Peter, you know, like later on down the road. Now, there's something here that struck me as very, very odd, and it really made my eyebrows twitch a little bit. Now, there's going to be some spoilers because I really have to address the spoilage, this part here. Now, let me see if I can get the picture here. If you notice this picture right here with Peter Parker, now, I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but basically, Peter Parker, the way his hair looks, it would basically be going down like this, like two fangs on the head, okay? Now, at the very end of this, when everybody goes home, there is somebody watching with hair really similar. So that's what made me wondering, like, specifically, why was that picture chosen to put there? Not saying Peter's back, but interesting ending. Very interesting. Inhuman #1. Marvel's latest epic begins here, and this isn't an epic. This is a colossal failure. Now, the only thing that's really saving this is Joe's art, but that's only if you like his art style. What we have is, you know, and this is the sad thing, is this should have been out months ago, but because we had all those delays and then the writer left, Fraction left, it's now old news. But the mist is slowly creeping across, and it's turning people, and there's an Inhuman that's part of a small fraction that was living outside of the city, and he's going around finding these Inhumans, and as they come out from their cocoons, he's killing them, up until when Medusa here interferes with his evil plan. You know, the art, I think, is great, and, you know, I really feel sorry for Soul here, because he's behind a rock and a hard place. You know, he's thrown in this thing last minute. He probably has some notes, and he's got to basically almost start from scratch, and that's just gotta suck, you know. considering this is supposed to be this big push epic. This is the big thing, and humans are going to be the new version of the mutants, and this has to happen. And I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this thing off. I'll be honest with you. This is something that you don't even have to read. I have a feeling they're going to tie some of this stuff into some of the other books, and eventually they're all going to, they're going to have to keep you up to date somehow if this is going to be the next big push. But I really don't even know if they're going to be able to pull this off. Hopefully, some of the character designs are really well done. So what I'm hoping for is we're going to get some good action scenes, some good fights, and then they'll be able to pull at least that side of it off. But I don't know. I'm not hopeful. Not hopeful at all. The Punisher. Punisher has. This is still a very, very entertaining read. Basically, they're just dealing with the Punisher getting caught and Electro torturing him. So that part was great. Not that they're not advocating the torture part, but it's just nice seeing, something a little different for the Punisher to deal with. Versus, he got caught by the mob and he easily gets away and shoots things up. Now he's got to deal with a lunatic who can control electricity. So that part's, I'm really, really enjoying it. And we learn a little bit more about their plans. If you have not picked up Punisher, you might still be able to get issues 1 through 3 on the shelf. Highly recommend giving this one a try. It's a lot different than what we're normally used to for the Punisher. Deadpool versus Carnage #1. Okay, Carnage goes on another rampage, and Deadpool gets subliminal messages as he's turning the TV channel to go after Carnage. Yeah, this is one of those things where you just kind of go, oh my god, this is a train wreck. But this is Deadpool, so half the train wreck is it's supposed to be there type thing. The art, as you can see, it's average, it's not really well done, but at the same time, it's Deadpool, so you don't really expect it to be stellar art, but at the same time, when you see Carnage jumping around, it just doesn't look menacing, and I think that part really suffers for it. Overall, is this a good read? This is one of those things where it's like a 50-50-er. You're probably going to see some people who just love this thing to death because you got a guy who heals forever and then Carnage who's going to rip him to shreds. And it's that, no, either side's really going to win type thing. And I have a feeling that's how it's really going to end. Neither side is going to win. But I don't know if I'm going to get the second issue or not. It's not the most worthless piece of garbage I've read this whole week, but it wasn't the strongest either. Finally, Moon Knight. This was different. Basically, it's not even throwing you into the plot of the story yet. Basically, there's a guy who's running around killing people. You don't know why. Now, you learn why later, but at the beginning, what you're doing is you're seeing little snapshots of people's lives. And you get a little text just to give you an idea of what's going on, and then one by one, these people are getting killed. And that is until Moon Knight comes in and just to ruin somebody's day. The art, I think, is really great. I think there's some really strong panels, like this panel here. I really, really love that. The way the cape opens up like that. The fight scene was kind of interesting. He's basically dodging things, dodging bullets. Every once in a while he gets hit a little bit. But, he's kind of like this weirdly different Batman because he's got, instead of the batarangs, he's got the moonerangs, and he's using the grappling hook type thing. And overall, it was an interesting read. The fight was good, and when we get to the end, we learned everything that we need to know to get the story going. But I really, really enjoyed it. Warren Ellis did a great job with this, and I just think it's a nice change compared to what else is on the shelf. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, you might want to give this one a try. And I don't think you'll be that disappointed by it. Anyways, that is my comic reviews for the week. Comments or questions, let me know. Oh, damn it! let's get you some free books. I almost forgot. Don't forget, like and share. And this thing goes into focus. Get you digital here. And I wish this thing would stay in focus. There we go. Anyways, comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video, like Facebook. I'll have more videos later. So until next time.